Gentlemen and ladies, we got planes flying overhead. We got a slight breeze blowing in from the west. And we got Melba Moore and Freddie Jackson singing my song, Just a Little Bit More. Ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what we're going to give you today. We're going to give you a little bit more. And I hope that some of you will appreciate the information. Now, if this information benefits you, we have a couple of days for the donations to be up there. And I do need to reach a goal. So if it does benefit you, if you appreciate the information, please hit the donate button underneath the video in the description area. Let's get started. We have two videos we're doing today. We're not going to do the arbitration yet. We're going to do the arbitration video next. And I assure you, when you find that information out, you're going to appreciate that information. Guarantee you, those of you who have arbitrations that have not been confirmed or that you've had problems getting confirmed, okay? Got a solution for you. Something that you might want to try. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are doing the accrual method, those of you who are doing the taxes, who are talking about tax credits, ladies and gentlemen, I am using the phrase tax credits because, as you see, the IRS tax topic number 453 specifically talks about tax deductions, and as we took you to the section that talks about tax credits, refundable tax credits and non-refundable tax credits. So we understand that we're talking about tax credits. However, I was talking with a tax agent this morning. This is someone that I know personally, and she was asking me a question because she was having some confusion when doing the paperwork. The same confusion your tax people are having. And that's because we're using the wrong terminology. They're not understanding what we're talking about. See, we're speaking English, and yet they're speaking finances. They're not the same language. Although it sounds like it's the same language, it is not the same language, people. You're supposed to be telling them that you have a loss carryover. Loss carryover. Listen to the word, loss carryover. Put that into your vocabulary. You have a loss carryover. I'll explain what it means, and I'll explain how you're applying it in a second. So you have a loss carryover, and from your loss carryover, you need to document that on the Schedule C. Okay, once it's documented on the Schedule C, you're going to document also your withholding of 31%. Okay, not 21%, not 10%, not 16%, but 31%. And the withholdings, no, not monies that are in an account in a bank. These withholdings you're going to withhold so that you can receive a refund. And the way you're going to get that is what I'm going to explain now. So remember, loss carryover is your language. No longer are you using the phrase tax credits when speaking with your tax agent. Okay? That's your first step. Here's your second step in explaining to them. You tell them that you have a loss carryover for however many years you're going to go back. And you didn't do the Schedule C appropriately in 2019 and 2020, and you need to make up for that. So how do you correct the Schedule C for 2019 and 2020 if you filed those years? If you did not file 2019, 2020, now you're going to file. And you can only count the debts and the write-off information for each year. So start putting together your accounting. Do it now. Don't wait until you speak to the person. Start writing out the accounting. We're not going to cover what debts you get to write off. We've already covered that in several of the videos. We're only going to focus on what you're communicating to your tax agents. This is why you're having problems, because you're not using the same language. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jaheem, and he's talking about put that woman first. So we're going to minimize that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, while you're talking to your tax agent, you're letting them know that you have a loss carryover from a, pay attention, charge off regarding a bad debt. That's it. Just that simple. Now I'm going to explain how you got there so that you'll have the knowledge. You don't need to go into all these details with them unless they specifically ask you. So let's say you have a arbitration award, and that arbitration award was issued in 2018, and you sent out the award to the party documenting an attempt to collect a debt because the arbitration award said that a debt was in existence and needed to be paid within a certain period of time. You waited 6 months. It became known as a charge off. Pay attention. That charge off automatically equates to a tax credit, but you're not going to use that phrase. This is for your knowledge. Automatically, it becomes a tax credit after 6 months because you're charging it off. But here's your dilemma. When you do a charge off, you're supposed to do a 1099 and you're supposed to give it to the debtor. Now you have two choices. See, personally, I'm not going to give the 1099 to the debtor. I'm going to assume the right to pay off the taxes. So I'm going to assume the taxes. I'm going to pay the taxes. I can always charge them for that debt later. So I'm going to pay the taxes. So when I file my taxes, I am going after a refund. So I'm going to withhold from this refund because remember, I'm not paying taxes on it. I'm not liable for the tax. The debtor is liable for the tax. But now I'm assuming liability for the tax. Now that tax is not going to be 31%, but I am going to take out 31% so that I can cover the taxes for that liability. As I cover the taxes for the liability, I am due now for this loss carryover because it's from 2018 and I didn't note it on my taxes 2018, 2019, and this 2020 that I'm filing taxes for now. So I'm going to bring that tax carryover forward. That's why it's carried over year after year because it's a refundable tax credit. I'm going to withhold the 31% and I'm telling my tax agent I want the largest refund possible after withholdings. And now they get to file your taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the information you are to be explaining to your tax agents. Now, do me a favor. I am not the tax guy. I do not do taxes. I don't claim to do taxes. This is not a disclaimer. This is me telling you the truth. I'm only telling you what you have the right to do. You now have to go and do the research based on the information that I just gave you. And once you do that research, now you can start going after what your rightful due. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to change Jaheen. Okay. What I'm going to explain to you just before, we're not going to go past 15 minutes. What I'm going to explain to you so that you know, we did a video the other day. We told you that you have the right. Pay attention. You have the right to life. Go back and look at the Redfield versus Fisher case. You have the right to life. You have the right to earn a living. And as has been the precedent for the last 800 years, pay attention, for the last 800 years, you cannot be taxed on your right to life. No government has the authority to charge you a tax for living. I know, carbon tax and all that, everybody. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the law. You have the right to life. That's an unalienable right, which means it's a natural right. Nobody can take that right away from you, not without due process of law. So they have these laws that says that they can do this and do that, but you know what they cannot do? They cannot deprive you of life and your right to life without due process. So because you have the right to life, you have the right to go and earn a living. When you are doing your taxes, you are not supposed to be taking care of taxes out of your cost of living. You're supposed to do your taxes after you document your cost of living. That's what the Schedule C is for. If you do not think that you can do a Schedule C with a 1040, you are wrong. You don't have to always use the accrual method, but if you want a refund, the accrual method is what you're going to use. You don't have to tell your tax agent you're going to do the accrual method. You just give them the 3115 form and tell them I need this to be attached to my taxes. I've already faxed the copy to the IRS. You're not telling them, I need you to do the accrual method. They now have permission. They have the paperwork, they have the documentation. Follow policy. This is the procedure. You know what to do when you get that form. Do your job. You're not going to tell them that, but I'm telling you what that form says to them. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, again, no more using the phrase tax credits. You are doing a loss carry over. And remember, with refundable tax credits, it's carried over year after year after year after year throughout eternity. And guess what? It even carries over if there's a recession, if there's a devaluation of the dollar. It carries over. So I hope that this information proves beneficial. I hope that some of you get something out of it. And I hope that it answers a lot of questions that people are asking for somebody to do a video on taxes and referring to the arbitration awards and how to write that off. A loss carryover, as I said before, if you have an arbitration award for 885 quadrillion dollars, only do it for 900,000, only do it for 500,000, only do it for an amount that's not going to raise eyebrows. You have to determine that. Do not email me, text me, or even put comments under the video asking me how do you go about doing that, because you have to make that choice. Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, again, if this information, if you think that it is beneficial, if you think that it will cause you some benefit, please feel free to donate. I won't be doing this much longer. I am trying to accomplish something. Most of you know what that is. And I appreciate the effort that many of you are putting into helping me accomplish that goal. 13 minutes, everyone.